Now I never know why tech YouTubers take outside shots of their PCs. It's the last place you'd want, like, or find a computer. But in the case of this old AMD gaming PC, it's just so filthy and dusty I couldn't justify taking it inside my home. This is the Potato PC Chronicles, the mini-series where we take old unwanted gaming PCs, try to fix them up on a strict budget, and throw some popular modern titles at them and cross our fingers in the process. I hope you enjoy the video. My name's Andy, and this is Andy's Tech. Now I've had some filthy PCs come into my ownership in my time, but this one takes the biscuit. Here in this system before you we have an AMD FX 4100, 16GB of DDR3 1866MHz RAM, and a Zeus M5A78L motherboard with an XFX 7870 with 2GB of VRAM. Not an amazing GPU by modern standards, but still a very capable little card for esports titles. It is lacking modern driver support unfortunately, that is even if it works. All powered by an OCZ 700W modular PSU, nice. And all this for the grand sum of £10 petrol to go and collect the system. Yes, that's right, the gods of luck have shined upon us. This was free to the collector on my local Facebook marketplace, and an opportunity I just couldn't miss. We are missing storage for this PC, and it is apparently non-functioning and won't boot, but looking at the state of it, that hardly surprises me. Just look at that cable unmanagement, ooh. And the GPU's loose as well. The motherboard seems to be missing all but 2 case standoffs, and I'll be amazed if it's not shorted out to the case, but fingers crossed it's not. It does however have some nice usable components, if we can get this to work that is. But before I even attempt to boot this thing up, I'm going to get all the dirt and grime and dust out first, so handy data vac to the rescue. Now usually this does do the trick and blows everything out nicely, but everything was so baked on that even my stiff cleaning brush was having difficulty removing some of the dirt. It wasn't even like it was that nasty smoker's dust you get where it forms a paste. It was like it had been baked on in the oven, but with a little perseverance it was clean enough to take inside and to try and work out if I can get this thing booted. Now once on my workbench I reseated the GPU and fixed it properly to the case with a mounting screw. I checked the RAM was seated correctly and gave all the power connections a wiggle just to check that they were securely connected also. The motherboard didn't appear to be touching the rear of the case, so with trepidation and fingers crossed I switched on the power button and boom, the system fired up first time round and we were straight into the BIOS. Result. The gods of PC hardware have definitely shined upon us today. I can only assume that something I did manage to fix the PC, and maybe the previous owner just didn't have the knowledge or patience needed to investigate and diagnose the fault correctly, or maybe it just broke down on them and they moved on. But thank you random Facebook person, we now have a functioning PC. But that said, we have no storage, and this case is just battered and old and it just brings the whole system down. So I'm going to add this 120GB SSD and 500GB hard drive, which cost me £20 for the pair, and a new, yes new Zalman ATX mid-tower case, and that cost me £35 delivered. Now we do technically have a budget of £100 for this Potato PC challenge, and this was set in the first video of the series. Plus I thought it would just be nice to build something in a nice new case for you guys. So the total build cost is £54.95, and let's roll the build montage. And there we have it, folks, and I think our little free Potato PC cleaned up really nicely. She's looking as good as new in that Zalman case, and will make someone a nice little budget PC when I sell it on. I'm always amazed what a little love can do to an unwanted PC, and I think the proof's in the pudding really here, and £55 well spent. I really like these Zalman cases. They're super easy to build in and come with a front and rear fan and even a little cloth to clean the glass with. A nice touch. There are, however, some limitations to this system. The FX 4100 will, I'm guessing, be on its knees in most of the games we're going to test today. It wasn't a great CPU when it was launched 10 years ago, and it's not going to have aged very well. And even with a 4.2 GHz overclock, it's just going to struggle, I think. The GPU is lacking modern driver support, as mentioned at the start of the video, but I'm not too concerned about that with esports titles. But there's only one thing to do really, and that's throw some games at it. So there we have it, from rags to riches, well, so to speak. We did have some limitations as expected. Although we had playable frame rates in most of the games tested today, we were plagued with stutters and micro freezes. The little FX 4100 just couldn't keep up, and the only real title that shined was Rocket League, as it allowed the GPU to stretch its legs. Really, the system is crying out for a 6000 or 8000 series FX processor, just to help out with those percentile figures. But Grandma didn't do too bad overall, and that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and thank you all for your support. I love you guys. Sorry the video was a little delayed this time as well. Please leave a comment or a like and get involved down below. This also helps the channel out massively. Consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. God bless, take care, and hopefully see you in the next one.